tell you that there is something going on in the last 24 hours with my dad, who's in Maryland, 91 years old, in the ICU. And so I appreciate your grace as I navigate this. It's going to become part of my talk, what happened this morning. So the talk is just, it started changing in the middle of the night, and just even now. So I'm flying by the seat of my pants, which is my favorite way to fly, by the way. All right. And also I wander around. Robert and I found the sweet spot, like I'm in theater. You know, this is where you stand until you're in your light. But I'm not going to be in my light all the time. I'm going to be walking around a little bit. So I'm talking today about obstacles. We've all experienced obstacles. Is there anyone here who has not? Raise your hand, because you must be a unicorn, and I would like to shake your hand. All right. Years ago, I took a class called Matrix Energetics. Matrix Energetics is energy work. And they would teach us a technique, and then we'd break off into pairs so we could work on the technique they just taught us. So we paired up, and I was with this lovely young woman. And the way energy works, a lot of you here work with energy, so you understand, is, for me, I close my eyes and then the energy landscape opens up. Is that how it works for you, Margaret, too, sort of? So, kind of, yes, it's different for everybody. But it's a different seeing than what your physical eyes are seeing. So I did what I was supposed to do, close my eyes, and I was going to do the technique. But before I could do anything, an image of Meghan Markle, of all people, popped up in my head.
Oh, jeez.
And now at that time, she was in the news because she and Prince Harry were going to get married, so it was all over everywhere. So I thought, you know, maybe that's my thought. You know, if that can happen. So I wiped the screen, as you do, closed my eyes, and prepared to do the energy session. And again, poof, Meghan Markle. So I'm like, I'm experiencing some weird block here. I don't know what's going on. So I excused myself, and I walked over and found my teacher. And I said to my teacher, I have no idea what's going on. I shared with her. I was sure she was going to say, oh, wow, Rekha, let me come over and help you. Let me work with you. Let me see what's going on. But she just said, as she was rushing off to help somebody else, what's in the way is the way. I had never heard that before. And so she just walks, she rushes off. So I went back to the woman I was working with, and I said, because I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What's in the way is the way? And so I said, I'm just going to be really honest with you. I was going to do the technique, but I keep seeing Meghan Markle. Do you have any idea what that means? And she said, I do. She said, my mother and I follow the royal family. And whenever they would do their live televised weddings or whatever they were doing, they've televised them around the world, and it's the middle of the night in this country, right? So they would get up, they lived in different states, and they'd make themselves cups of tea, and they'd be on the phone watching the royal whatever it was together. And she said, but before Meghan and Harry married, my mother passed away. And she said, I miss her so much. She got really emotional. She started crying. And as this was happening, the energy landscape opened. So that obstacle was a window, right? Now, I never thought of obstacles in different ways before. For me, and you all can tell me if it's different for you, whenever an obstacle appeared in my path before, it was like, what? You know? How can I push this aside? How can I power through it? What can I do, right? Because it does not fit with my plan. Right? Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
I like it when you talk to me, so go ahead and shout it out. We're in church. Okay, so I had never thought of interacting with obstacles. Has anybody ever thought of it that way before? Kind of, ish. So what I realized is, again, the reason obstacles are a problem is because they don't fit with the plan, right? That's all. They don't fit with the plan that our human selves have made. Takes 20 minutes to get to Unity of Littleton. I want to get there at 9:05 so I can leave at 9:45. Crap, there's construction, right? Or, oops, I have a flat tire, or whatever, right? These are really inconveniences and just basically don't fit with the human plan. So I have never thought about interacting with an obstacle. I was really happy when Robert picked the song that he picked, Spirit is Talking. But I'm going to say this again. I thought the words were, Spirit is talking to me. And he's saying, Spirit is talking through me. I was like, wow, everything is changing like right now. But it works both ways. Spirit is talking through us and to us, right? All the time, all the time. And we're used to getting intuitions, we're used to getting hints, we're used to getting our nudges. If all of that is Spirit talking to us, are obstacles Spirit talking to us too? Well, that sucks. I don't want that at all. Can't it come in a nicer way, you know? So, I really believe that that's true, that we are getting information from Spirit all the time, 24/7. You know, there's a biblical phrase, what is it? There's a verse that says, pray without ceasing. That doesn't mean that you're like this all the time. That means you are just connected all the time, right? Reverend Marilyn, you can tell me. You've studied this stuff. So yes, you're connected all the time. And if you are connected all the time, and you believe, as I believe, that the whole universe is conspiring in your favor, then everything is an opportunity. Everything, even the obstacles. Okay? So that particular obstacle was a window. There was a flight that crashed a while ago, Air India. We all heard about this, right? There was a 28-year-old student who was supposed to be on that flight. And she was trying to get to the airport, and traffic was preventing her from getting there on time. So she finally managed to get to the gate, but she was 10 minutes late, and they had already closed the doors to the jetway. And she begged and she pleaded, and they said, no, sorry, we're getting ready to take off. So she was annoyed, and she left the airport, and she went to get something to eat, and then a friend called and said, did you hear what just happened? So that obstacle was a lifesaver, right? My sister and I have never got along. I love her dearly. Don't tell her I told you that. I'm kidding. But I do. We're always like this. But in the last week, since my dad has been in the hospital, we're talking almost every day, and there is no friction. As we talk, we're talking about my father's care, and she's like, I think we need to do this, and I say, I am totally behind you. Whatever you need from me to support you during this time, because she knows more, she's there. My dad is in Maryland. So she talks to the doctors, she's got all the lingo. She was telling me something yesterday, oh, the Lasix, blah, 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 and the potassium levels, and this and that and everything, and my whole mind was going gray. I was like, what is she talking about? She knows this stuff because she's been living it. So instead of me trying to take over, because I'm the older sister and sometimes I did that, I said, you know what? You tell me what you need. So that could have been an obstacle, right? But that perceived obstacle seems to be leading to some healing, which I never would have expected. I never would have thought it would happen this way. And that's the beauty of obstacles. You don't see them coming, right? That's the magic. If we saw them coming, then they would be part of the plan, right? There was one more obstacle I wanted to talk about. Two more. Sometimes an obstacle just leads to pure magic. This is a fun one. So Memorial Day weekend, I was watering my flowers, And all of a sudden, it was using a hose, all of a sudden the water just stopped coming out. I'm like, oh great. I mean, that's scary, right? You don't want water damage, that's a bad thing. Homeowners, yes? So whenever something goes wrong with the pipes, you call the plumber right away. Of course, it's a holiday weekend. So I call the plumbing company that I've worked with. They're lovely, and every technician they've sent for different things has been wonderful. So the technician came out, it was a Sunday afternoon, I'm thinking this is gonna cost an arm and a leg. He walks out to the spigot, turns it on, and the water just comes out. I was not graceful, I have to tell you, I shouted loudly, "Are you kidding me?" And I couldn't figure out why that happened. So we're talking a little bit about what we should do. Should I replace the spigot? We were maybe there for 20 minutes. And as he was talking, I saw something sliding off the roof. And it was a silver helium star-shaped Mylar balloon. And it slid right over his head and fell to the ground. That's weird. So he's looking at me and I'm looking at him and he said, "Is it a sign or is it an omen?" That's weird for a plumber to say, right? The whole thing is weird. And I said, "I don't believe in omens. I believe I'll get hits if something's not right. So I'm going to take it as a sign." So he turns to leave and I pick up the balloon, which was clean and, had a string, and I said, "Do you want the balloon?" Again, another weird thing. Why did I say that? And he said, "Yes." And he took the balloon, and he said, "Maybe it's a sign from the people in heaven." This is a plumber. I said, "Do you have people in heaven?" He said, "I do." I said, "Then it's a sign for you." So he took it and he went on his way. Then there's more to this weird story. I couldn't believe it. A couple weeks later, something else happened and I needed to call the same plumbing company. Now, I've worked with them many, many times. They've always sent a different technician. But that day, guess who came walking up the path? And I looked at him and I said, "Balloon guy." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Did you ever figure out who that was trying to say hello to you?" And he said, "Well," and he told me who was in heaven, and he said, "But that's not what the weird part was." He said, "I left that balloon in my van and it got flat, as balloons will do." And he said, "And then the third day, I went into my van and the balloon was re-inflated and bobbing against the top of his van." So I stopped him and I said, "Ian, I have to say something to you. That's not how helium balloons work." And he said, "I know. I'm just telling you what happened." So he took the balloon out of his van and he said, "I guess it's time for you to bless somebody else." And he released the balloon. So that obstacle, the weird spigot thing, which was probably operator error, led to pure magic. What a magical experience to have, right? We had this amazing conversation. So as I was thinking about obstacles, and I was thinking about this boulders into pebbles thing, and I was just like, I can't quite get my head around it. How does a boulder turn into a pebble? Because I feel like a lot of times we have these amazing affirmations here, but I want to know what the nuts and bolts are. I'm like, great, that sounds great. How do I do it? I don't know if other people feel that way, but. So, as usual, my life, anytime I'm wondering about something, my life will immediately plop the experience I need to have to learn the lesson down in front of me. So, not always pleasant, but that's what happens. So, my gift, wrapped in an obstacle, came in the form of an email. And the email said that the city of Denver was not going to renew my short-term rental license because I was not in compliance with their zoning regulations. This is all new, right? So, of course, I want to panic. That's my first solution when I reach an obstacle. I don't know if other people are more graceful, but I panic, and I panic loudly. I don't go in my bedroom and panic. I want to tell everybody my story, okay? Including the UPS man who just said, how's your day going? They don't like that. I just want you to tell you that. So instead of calling, as I was reaching for my phone, I heard my guidance say, stop. Stop. You don't have all the information. And so I thought that meant, well, I haven't talked to my co-host, my manager, she'll have information. So I was able to be peaceful all day until I got her email at the end of the day, and she said, I don't know. So then I get the opportunity to go right back into panic, and the whole Airbnb community was in this Chicken Little, sky is falling, the sky is falling. Everybody was panicking. My guide still said, wait. You don't have all the information. So I thought about it, and I texted my manager. I said, I'm going down to the city. I'm going to talk to them at the city because I don't know how to proceed because I don't know what's going on. So I went down to the city, and there was a very nice man there who walked me through it, and I had an actionable plan. And then I felt better. When I have a plan, I feel better. Is that how everybody feels? It's like, oh yeah, this is the plan. Okay, great, let's do it. But what I learned from that is the way to work with an obstacle. The way an obstacle appears in our life. It's like road construction. Okay? So we have a plan. I'm gonna give you a visual here. How's that? So it's like, you don't have to sing the song, but it's fun. You're driving around at 40 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, boom, there's an obstacle. Okay? That stops you, right? You have to stop. Because something is changing with the path in front of you. Something is changing, either the speed that you're going, the direction, whatever, you don't yet know what is happening. So this is your opportunity to kind of have a one-on-one with Spirit, right? Before you've been sort of operating on autopilot and everything's going well. Now something has shifted. So you stop. I'll face this way. You recenter. It's really important. You can't hear Spirit if you're like, whoa, you can't hear what you need to hear. Recenter and wait. And eventually, the stepping stone, the next move will line up for you. And you can go, oh, there. Again, stop, wait, center. Wait for the next. Oh, now I'm going here. Right? And at some point, hopefully, the stepping stones will be more and more plentiful, and you will start to see, oh, here's the path again. Right? But it's this incredible opportunity to really, really work with Spirit and move very slowly. This is a slow process. It's not a fun one either, I have to say. There's a lot of... But I think that is the beauty of obstacles. Obstacles are Spirit giving us information that we weren't getting before. Change in direction, change of plan, rebuilding the road, who knows what it is, right? We don't have to work with obstacles this way. We can do what I used to do, which is just butt my head against them. But it doesn't really work, right? And Joseph Campbell said this so beautifully. He said, we must be willing to let go of the life we planned in order to live the life that is waiting for us. That's why the obstacles. So the next time you come up against an obstacle, get excited. Who knows what's going to happen? It's magic. It's mystery. Open up, right? Go, oh, whoa, this is Spirit talking to me. Maybe through me too. Talking to me. What am I supposed to hear? What am I supposed to do? That's your homework for the week. Get excited for the next obstacle. And you can complain to me about it next Sunday at the picnic. So now we're going to go into our time of meditation. deep breath in and out. And recognizing that everything is part of the workbook of life. We have this amazing opportunity to collaborate with Spirit, with the universe. The universe and you are working together in harmony to create every life experience you need to have so that you get the biggest bang out of your buck. So we're going to take a second, we're going to center so that we can be in the most optimal place to receive. Just take a deep breath, feel your energy relax. Feel the gratitude for every aspect of life flood your spirit. Now wiggle your toes. You're going to come back into the room, back into this energy of love and community. And I say, I am so grateful. I am so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for all this love. I'm so grateful to be a human being on the planet at this time. And as we embrace this gratitude, we move out into this world and we share that. And so it is.